Very similar to problems involving concentrations are problems involving interest earned. An investor is considering two funds, a high-risk fund which yields 12% and a low-risk fund which yields 4%. He has $10,000 to invest and wants to earn $1,000. How should he invest in each fund? So it's a little bit less obvious that this is about a mixture. The word mixture isn't right in the problem, right? But he's combining two investments, and we have information about the lump investment and information about what each investment returns. So let's see. We have the high-risk fund and the low-risk fund and the total investment. And we know that the amount invested in each is going to be our unknowns, and the total investment is $10,000. We know the rate of return, right, for the high-risk fund is 12%, and for the low-risk fund is 4%. We know we want a total of $1,000 returned. That's not the rate of return, though, is it? That's amount returned. So what are our rules? Right, notice I put these in separate columns because they're different kinds of information. If we had a rate of return for the total investment, that would go here. Maybe we'll figure that out at some stage. Maybe we won't. All right, so what are our rules? Well, the first rule is about our total investment. And the second rule is about how much return we want. And our unknowns, again, are how much we should invest in the high risk and how much we should invest in the low risk. I think we understand this problem pretty well. Let's go ahead and model it. I'm going to call my variables H and L. And now that I've named the variables, I'd like you to pause the video and try to finish the model. Okay, I can model the rule about the total investment right away. Right, H plus L is 10,000. To model the rule about the amount of return, I need to know how much money the high-risk investment is returning. Well, it'll be 12% of H. And how much the low-risk investment is returning. That'll be 4% of L. So my second equation will be 12% of H plus 4% of L equals the total return I want, 1,000. Okay, so this gives us a system of equations. I think we're ready to go on and solve. Pause the video and try solving this. Okay, again, if I don't like decimals, I could multiply both sides of this by 100 if I wanted to. I think I'm okay with decimals. I'm going to just go ahead and solve with the decimals in place. I think I'm going to choose to eliminate L by multiplying both sides of this first equation by negative 0.04. If you chose to eliminate H, that's totally fine. Watch and make sure you get the same answer as I do. So negative 0.04H minus 0.04L equals, all right, this is going to be a 4 with some number of zeros after it. We can ask the calculator, or we can think about, it'll be a 4 with 4 zeros, and then we'll move the decimal point 2 places to the left. I think I'm going to get 400. I do get 400. And of course it's negative because this was negative. All right, copying out the second equation, add together the left-hand sides. Here I get 0L, of course, which is eliminated. Divide both sides by 0.08, and I get H is 7,500. Which equation do you guys want to use to find L? Yeah, this first one. All right, 7,500 plus L equals 10,000. L equals, subtracting 7,500 from both sides, L equals 2,500. Okay, so what's the answer to the question? 7,500 in the high-risk account, 2,500 in the low-risk account. Are those numbers reasonable? I'm actually going to do a little bit more arithmetic to decide if those numbers were reasonable. Right, what was the rate of return on the total investment? 1,000 divided by 10,000, that's 10%, right? Now, is 10% closer to 12% or closer to 4%? Right, it's closer to 12%. So the mixture is closer to being like the high risk than being like the low risk. I expect that I've invested more in the high risk account. And in fact, that's what I see. These numbers are reasonable.